Hello and welcome to my video blog for Sunday, August the 26th. You know, by now the whole world has probably seen those pixelated photos of Prince Harry's crown jewels when he partied up in Vegas. Yeah. Now, the photos, which were taken undercover, were given to TMZ and now shopped all over the world for, money, of course. And the prince had no idea that when he was having fun, some rambunctious fun it looks like, with some friends as he partied up in his private suite in Vegas, that he was being photographed. The shock. The shame of it all. And Buckingham Palace cannot be so less thrilled about this current development. But according to Inside Edition, it seems as though his popularity has soared in the United States, meaning that everyone is just wild about Harry. Oh, that prince. But can you blame him? I mean, after all, he came over here as a tourist and he believed that what happens in Vegas should stay in Vegas. Yeah, unless you have a Judas in your crew that's carrying a camera phone. Curses, technology, curses. Now, speaking of friends and technology, remember those old schoolyard games, before people used to play with, Angry Birds and Words with Friends and stuff like that. Remember when people used to play and kids used to play and run around in the schoolyard? And remember that game of touch and Cooties? Yeah, remember when you would tag someone and then you would cross your fingers because they were it and then they couldn't tag you, especially if they had Cooties. Ooh, that little childhood game. Oh well, now it seems as though Todd Akin, the senator from Wisconsin, has it. He has it. And the Republicans can't get away from him fast enough. What am I talking about? What does he have? Well, if you haven't heard by now, Akin made the misfortune of speaking incorrectly when he was on a show and pretty much talking about the issue of pregnancy, unwanted pregnancy and abortion. And somehow the conversation got twisted in that he said the statement that was heard across the country, that in the cases of legitimate rape, the female body has a way of shutting that thing down. Well, yeah, I know. Where did he go to school? And this is why it's so important, children, that you stay in school and you don't cut class and you take good notes. Because when you cut class and you don't take good notes, this is what happens. You get this kind of nonsense. And the Republicans, they can't get away from Akin fast enough because this whole story is toxic. So now Akin is sort of like that little scraggly cat from the musical Cats. Remember the musical Cats, the longest running one on Broadway for so many years? Yes, it was about all of these little dancing cats, and they sang and they played and they had a whole lot of fun, except for this one. It was the scraggly old little cat, and all the other cats would run away because it was nasty and had cooties. And so when it came around, all it wanted to be was just touched. But none of the cats would touch it. Well, Akin is hoping that if he stays in this race long enough, eventually people will forget and they'll forgive him. And that the voters will come out and that they'll touch him. And once they touch him, he'll be able to be lifted up into the votes, lifted up into the polls, and on election day, he'll be able to rise and come to the center of the stage and sing that song. But not if the Republicans have anything to do with it, because they're trying to find a way to kick his butt off that stage. Yeah, get out of the race, Akin. They want him gone. Now, who wants him to stick around? The Democrats. The Democrats want him to stick around because, quite frankly, they love this story. Because this story has taken all the attention away from Vice President Joe Biden's little mess up last week. Oh yeah, Joe Biden, you gotta love him. But when he was talking to a crowd, he happened to make the misfortune of saying some words that were sort of, I don't know, out there when he was talking, and he brought about some terminology when he was saying that, to the crowd, and he was trying to explain to them that, if we keep going with these policies, that these policies were gonna chain ya. That's what they want to do, chain you and bring it back. And so then people were like, what? And so then the Republicans accused Joe Biden of whistleblowing. Whistleblowing. Saying things that would incite certain ethnic groups through speech that only the ethnic groups would be able to decipher because their ears are in tune to these words that other groups aren't in tune to. Oh, those Republicans, they broke it down like a science. And this is what they accused Joe Biden of. Now, what do the black voters and what does the black community have to say about all this? Well, they're sitting there looking puzzled because, do they look like Snoopy? No, they don't look like Snoopy. And that's pretty much what they're coming back and saying. Our ears don't hear certain things like a dog whistle. Yeah, or we don't hear certain commands through words broken down that only the Republicans can hear, that they have told us that we should know and hear and tune into. Thanks, but no thanks. We'll do our own deciphering. That's why the president has decided to stand by his man. Yeah, he's taking a cue from that old Tammy Wynette song, and he's going to stand by his man and not run away like he has cooties. To all my friends and everyone down in the Gulf Coast, get some rain gear. There's this tropical storm coming, and it's going to be kind of nasty, which leaves me with several questions as we lead into next week, which is, will the tropical storm that Mother Nature is bringing show up like an ex-wife looking for child support? Will Sarah Palin show up to the Republican National Convention and crash it like Taylor Swift at a Kennedy wedding? Or will Akin be kicked off the island by the Republicans and have his torch snuffed out? These questions and more will all have to keep until I see you next time.